Welcome to the War Room. We got Dez, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. How you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to get the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Roll with the topic, sorta like the rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4th and 26th or the war in Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.
What up, War Room family? You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports on that War Room Sports Podcast Network. I'm Devin McMillan. I'm at the round table with my brothers Jimmy the Blueprint and that dude B. Austin. Look, the NFL draft is come and gone, and the NBA playoffs are in full effect. We have an important question to answer about the current era of NBA point guards. So keep it locked right here. And if you want to holler at us throughout the show, you know the drill. You can join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room, and you can join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about 30 minutes when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech hotline. That number, as usual, is 323-410-0012. One favor to ask you guys and gals before we get started. When we're not on the air, please remember to take some time out of your busy week to listen to the great shows on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. Check out top-notch podcasts such as The Broad Street Line with Roy and Chris, the Tissue and the Tape Hip-Hop Show with Phil and Savard and the crew, the No Look Pass Podcast with Frank and Andy, the Mad Scientist Sports Lab with Nick and Andrew, John Appetit with the Burtons, and a whole lot more. That's just a little bit what we have to offer at WRSPN. Just visit warroomsports.com, click on the WRS Podcast Network tab, or listen on the War Room Sports mobile app or on iTunes. Homies, yo man Jay really might be making an iced tea, which might be the response to Beyonce's Lemonade, man. What's up, bros? How y'all feeling?
Yo, these two people got the whole world swinging from their yak.
Yo, man.
Yo, married couple,
brilliant.
This
brilliant
album,
market.
not diss tracks, making diss albums for each other, planning it, getting millions off of it, like. What does the world come to, man?
I think it's fire, as long as the music is hot. I like the Lemonade album. It's a lot better, harder than the Kendrick album. But with that being said, if Jay ain't bringing no fire, yo, just stay where you at, man. But
when the last time Jay brought fire?
Yeah, he got to hit Beyonce with the Takeover, and that was super ugly.
But be off. And here's the thing, though, right? A fire album versus fire songs is different, man. I
agree. I get you.
Most artists, right? Most artists only got a couple classics in general in any genre under their belt. But once you get to like legend status, you just gotta drop a couple of good songs here and there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Prince, but Prince wasn't making classic albums towards the end of his life, but he hit you with a song every once in a blue. Same with Mike.
That's what Jay's been doing since like 2002. Like
no, but
he dropped something hot every now and again.
Course, though. When you look at it in the grand scheme of things, the reason that guys like Big Pun or Biggie, they died before they had a chance to put out some BS. But most artists, if you in this long enough, shout to LL Cool J, you gonna put out some BS though. You know what I'm saying? Like
Pun tried. Like,
yeah,
like getting there.
No, Pun got a BS album.
No, he don't. No, he don't.
I would call it BS, but he was trending in that direction a little bit.
His second album is definitely not as good as his first one, but it's not trash though, B. But my point being though, he's
trash. I'm just saying it was a commercial. It was he sold out.
I mean, he had a lot of rapping bull. As Wu would say, rapping bull, but
I don't know, man. You can have rapping BS and it still be dope. You know what I'm saying? Like,
cool.
Shout to LL Cool J again.
I know I promised y'all time and time again that I would try because people always tell me that this dude is good. Yo, I tried, man. I can't get with Drake. I can't, man. Like, every time I listen to this album, dude is doing his Frank Sinatra thing like 12 seconds in. I can't do it, man.
Yo.
You know the crazy part? And
the sad thing, I think Jimmy going to say the same thing I am to you, Dev. But the sad thing is, mixtape. Yo, it's like, dude has stuff where you like, yo, if this is what you can do, then why not do it? And then it's like, I'm going to come at you and say, yo, but listen to him on the mixtape. And you like, but I don't want to listen to the mixtape.
I don't even understand mixtapes for real.
Yo, I got a different perspective.
Yo, his albums be trash, yo.
I got a different perspective on Drake than that, be awesome. That's not what I was actually going to say because Drake's last 2 mixtapes are trash. I think that
he already jammed.
I think that in the beginning, Drake showed that he was talented, right? When everyone fell in love with Drake, it's back when Drake was fire. He was spitting fire. But I think that Drake at this point, it doesn't look at himself along the lines of, say, a Nas or a Jay-Z or his contemporaries like a Kendrick or J. Cole. I think Drake's going for like Michael Jackson, Prince type-ish. Like he's trying to make like this universal music that's played on the radio 24/7. I don't think he sees himself as an MC at this point. He sees himself because if you look at that
what up,
Skyview? Just Hold On, I'm Coming Home. If you look at that Just Hold On song, that song was like popular and it literally put him in other genres. And then you talk about Hotline Bling and stuff like that. Like he's reaching for a different audience. He doesn't see himself as a rapper or an MC at this point. So that's just my perspective. Like, yeah, he's reaching for something. He's reaching for something else. Like he don't care about us who are like.
I mean, but even before all that, I can't even take his voice, yo. And I try. Yeah. Like it's not like. See, it's not like I'm saying I've never heard Drake say something, nice. But and everybody's talking about the whole Drake Meek thing, man. I mean, not just because of Meek, but that battle was weak, man. I mean, Kid and Play battle at the party was better than that.
No, that battle definitely was weak. That's what I call the social media battle. But for people that saw how Drake came and was like, okay, so he still got that. But then when it's time to drop an album, yeah, I'm going back for these pop charts. I don't care about spitting bars no more. Like that's not even where he's at. So
you mentioned Kendrick, I think that I'm a Kendrick fan. But even Kendrick, like people be talking like he's the savior of hip hop, and I don't see that either. Like I like the dude, but I think he be doing too much with the trying to be versatile with his style and stuff. He be doing a little too much for me.
What I like to call with Kendrick, I call them alien voices. I can't take the alien voices with Kendrick.
Yeah. But I definitely come on. He be sounding like Macy Gray on the track, man.
But I definitely recognize the young man's talent, and I appreciate what he does. Same with J. Cole. Like J. Cole to me is very talented, but his subject matter seems to be redundant.
Boring.
And it's actually
boring.
He does, but the funny thing funny that you mentioned that because out of all of them, I probably think I can tolerate him. Like I can listen to J. Cole the longest out of this new crop before I turn. I don't, it's hard for me to just sit and listen to a whole album from any of these dudes. But I think I can stomach J. Cole.
See, for me,
even though he tried to get his crooned on too. But I think I can stomach him a little longer.
J. Cole is like, and J. Cole is mentioned in the Bible, known as Sports the Book, where he's compared to the '85 Chicago Bears. But that's you got to read the book to get the analogy. But to me, the one that I like the most is probably Pusha T. But the only problem with that is I'll be
not really a new dude.
I'll be ready to sell drugs when I listen to his album. So that's the only problem with that.
I've been hearing that lately too, B. How Pusha T be getting his name put up in this new crowd?
Well, the reason
people don't realize. Listen. I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is.
They don't count the clips. They don't count the clips.
They don't count. They don't count the clips. And
Pusha T like
40. They even say it. They got them good West African Senegalese genes. Like when you look at Push, you don't realize that he's a middle-aged man. Like people think that he's like in his 20s. Like they don't realize Pusha T's like damn near 40. He's damn near. Pusha T was on Power 99 with Kobe Kolb in 1993.
Hold on. Pusha T was born in '77, right? And I know that, but the problem is like they don't count the clip stuff, right? Because I mean, it's like when Bobby Brown won Best New Artist as an R&B artist, and he was already in New Edition for like 10 years.
He was in the game for like 20 years.
It's like how are you new artist? He won Best New Artist like when he came out. You know what I mean? As Bobby Brown. So the same thing applies when you break away. Beyonce won Best New Artist when she broke away from Destiny's Child. So it's like your group stuff don't count. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
But still with Push, like he been in the game too long. Like his style, he don't even do what these other dudes do.
He don't.
He can't stop talking about.
I can give you that. He's cut from a different cloth. Like he grew up with Big and Jay and all that. And it's obvious in his content.
He still flow and got bars, but he's still talking that '90s drug stuff. Like,
this is true. He never let it go.
He moves so much weight that he like. The only thing you can he down with El Chapo. That's it.
Yo,
he's Chapo with it.
But in terms of what's going on now with the whole Drake phenomenon, I mean, and the funny thing is, the reason I think that's what's going on is because the numbers show it. I mean, dude has sold an exorbitant amount of CDs, or albums, I should say. Let me say CDs. We don't buy CDs.
In a time where people don't even buy music anymore,
exactly.
He sold so many units.
Yo, my man almost went platinum in 2 days. Like no one goes platinum. Period. He almost went platinum in 2 days. And so, like what I was saying,
Gates go platinum.
Kevin Gates don't gotta go platinum. He got 2 phones. You know what I'm saying?
He go platinum. You hear when he says that though? I was watching his interview. When he say going platinum, that means y'all about to get it in. Y'all about to rumble. He be like,
yo, I know.
I try to chill, but if you disrespect my wifey, then we about to go platinum. What are you talking about?
Devin, my point is this: like, I'm a fan of intelligence, right? So, I really believe that that's what Drake is doing. I think it's on purpose and all that. And shout out to Beyonce for finding a way to sell records. I appreciate that. And Jay, if you come back, just give me a couple good songs. Like I'm not B. Austin. I don't even think you have it in you, Pauls, to make a great album anymore.
I don't even
just give me a couple good songs. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like B. Austin, like, I don't even expect it anymore. But
I'm like B. I'm not saying I'm giving him a pass for that. I should.
Jimmy giving him a pass. I don't give him a pass,
but I don't expect it.
It's not that I'm giving him a pass, but at this point, I don't like. If I look at my favorite rappers, the only one who's still giving me that what could be argued to be classic material is probably Brad Jordan. Like not Nas, not Rakim, not like Big Daddy. Like none of these dudes are doing that. Like at some point,
Nas dropped a classic. What is you talking about?
I mean,
in 2014.
If you want to call that a classic, I wouldn't call it a classic. Listening back to it, I wouldn't call it a classic. I think it's a good album. Absolutely a good album. I wouldn't call it a classic.
Maybe I exaggerated a little bit with classic, but it was very.
I don't throw the C word around like that.
It was very, very good. It was more than just good, and it was more than very good.
Put it like this, B. Austin. The album that Brad Jordan released last year was the best rap album of the year by far. Like Brad Jordan.
I agree. I don't.
Anyway,
yeah, let's because everybody probably tuning in thinking like they done tuned in to Tissue and the Tape. You're in the right place. This is the War Room. I see Skyview already in the chat room talking about point guards. We're doing that in like an hour and 15, but but that's what's up. We're already in the mode of the point guard conversation. That's what I like to see.
Like the habits have it. That's all.
But Jim, let's get it started, man. Let's talk some sports for the people. Tell everybody what happened this week. While we're on that good grind.
Absolutely, and while you're on the grind,
wow, Steady B and Cool C get no props.
Yo, they really live that life though. You know what I mean? Anyway, I was gonna say free Steady B, but I really don't think he should be free. Keep his ass in jail. Anyway,
his ass in jail. Bo need to be Tukey, man. He's a menace to society.
Yo, shout out to everybody who say free anybody just because they locked up. Some of them dudes know damn well they need to belong in jail, and y'all know that too. So stop with the free such and such. Anyway,
you need to be in jail with no TV too.
Don't give him cable.
Nah, he can't get a TV.
I mean, give him internet. You know what I'm saying? They can hear us on Blog Talk and whatnot. But anyway,
Steady B better not call me talking about the Eagles. Go ahead.
Yo, Steady B about to call up to give his opinion on some point guard. Yo, Steady B, if you listening, call up around 710 and give us your opinion on point guards, B.
EST give me nothing.
Shout out to EST who is doing this thing now as a writer. But anyway, while you were on the grind is brought to you by DirecTV. If you'd like a better TV experience than cable has to offer, including NFL Sunday Ticket, go to our website at warroomsports.com and click on that DirecTV logo and get yourself a better TV experience, especially if you're in our PNOW system. Listen, if you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta have DirecTV.
We got some Jones in the PNOW system.
Yeah, no doubt. First story. My man, you're my boy, Blue. We should have had that clip. But anyway, Aaron McKie is giving back to Philly in the form of a state-of-the-art youth center. Gentlemen, what do you think about what Aaron McKie's doing, and what are your thoughts on Aaron McKie overall?
Yo, like you said, man, that's my boy, Blue. I read this story, man, and, it tugged at the heartstrings, man, because a lot of people go, they talking about giving back and this and that. He's really doing it. Like he grew up in Philly, played high school, college, and played 8 years in the league in Philly. And, you know, he's a part of this Philadelphia, this youth basketball who's building a center, $25 million center that's going to have all kinds of, you know, of course, the indoor gym, like 8 basketball courts, a health and wellness wing where they're going to, you know, give out healthy food and stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff that, you know, the hood doesn't have and it actually needs. And, you know, this center is going like in the Logan Triangle. And, you know, y'all being from Philly, y'all know what the Logan Triangle is about. So, you know, it's a place the way he puts it, where the youth can go and feel safe, you know, stay out of the mix and the trouble of the street. And that's big right now, because what's going on in the streets in our hometown, man, it's something else, man. Jimmy, you was telling us, you know, earlier about the basketball player who's headed to college and got shot as an innocent bystander. Now they're going to amputate his leg, and he's in a coma. He had 3 scholarship offers to go play ball. This is the kind of stuff going on. So shout out to Blue, man.
Yeah, a couple thoughts about Blue, and also what Dev said. It's definitely an amazing thing, man. Aaron McKee is out there trying to show him the loafs, and that's what's needed. You know what I'm saying? So salute to him for that, because it's definitely needed. And it's funny because in every major city you see some of the same conditions, which are really socioeconomic conditions. There aren't jobs. There isn't anywhere for them to go, because a lot of the facilities that were, you know, open for kids to go after school just aren't there. You know, mothers and fathers who are trying their best, working multiple jobs. It's just a lot of economic conditions that lead to what we have now in every major city. But it's also something interesting, and you guys know that I'm a conspiracy theorist. Statistically speaking, right? Did you guys know that there's actually like less murders now than there's ever been? Crime is down across the country. But one thing that happens now that hasn't happened in the past is how much access we have to it. So things seem to be crazier, when in fact they're not crazier. They're just crazy. Like in the 80s, cats was like, you know, dying left and right. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean that it's not a problem.
You know what it was.
That doesn't mean that it's not a problem. That doesn't mean that it's not a problem, but it's good to see people that are trying to make a difference, man. I like to always point out these people, because people all the time, no one cares about this and no one cares about that, and they don't give people credit that when people are fighting every day, when it's not a story that's in the media, when it's just something to do because it's the right thing to do. You dig? Right. So that's what I want to salute him for that. But go ahead, B. Awesome. I know you had a point.
Man, nothing other than salute to Blue. He kind of lived a bit of a dream. I mean, he never left his hometown, other than playing for the Lakers for that little bit, and maybe another squad. But you know, he lived his life.
Lakers, Detroit.
He lived his life as a Philly staple in basketball, and he's still a staple in the community. So, you know, as Jimmy said, man, salute to Blue, salute to him for taking up the leadership mantle of doing something that's not only, you know, for show, but hopefully is an inspiration to others to kind of come behind him. And it doesn't have to be millions of dollars, but just the time and effort and energy that you're willing to put into these youth. And you know, it's funny, man. I would say that it's a little bit of a stretch with the analogy, but you know how Jimmy you just said that crime is down statistically.
Yeah.
I would say that the impact, because of social media and the accessibility, the impact of individual crimes is that much higher because it's so accessible. So it's kind of like, okay, if you look at crime as bullets being shot, the crime now is more like a grenade launcher round. Each crime has such an effect because the ripple effect is that, you know, you can actually see somebody commit something as foul as a murder on social media, and it goes viral, and everybody's watching it. So there's less people outside that commit it, but there's more people that know of it, that see it, that are impacted by it.
But and just to add to that, and I know that we're getting like way serious in the show after we didn't talked about hip hop for the first 10 minutes, but to add to that, Dev talked about like the crack era and things that happened in the past when the crime rate was statistically higher. What we're seeing now is a result of that. You know, a lot of times we talk about, and I find it interesting, right, when we talk about like this presidential race, and we talk about what Barack Obama did or didn't do, regardless of what side you fall on. A lot of times it takes years and years to see the results of policies and also just shifts in culture. It takes years to see that. So what we're seeing now is a result of when the crime rate was higher, and which leads to a lot of these problems and these social ills that are going on now. And I do
That's a great point, Jim. Because as far as public sentiment goes, like the crime bill that Bill Clinton signed is really just catching up to him now that his wife is trying to be president.
You know what I mean?
People just now talking about that. Like, man, we just noticed that the bill that you signed, like, got people.
Yeah, because it takes time. It takes time. And it's funny because I remember George Bush said that, right? Like, you know, one of the things George Bush said, and I found it interesting when he was leaving, and they were asking him how does it feel to be, like, you know, such a hated president. He says, people can hate me now, but only time will tell how effective my term has been. Like, you know, I thought it was interesting that he said it, whether you like him or hate him, but I thought it was interesting. And
that's definitely the thing. Because during this campaign, Jim, I'm like, yo, when did black people start hating the Clinton so much? Because they didn't back then when he was doing it to black people. And they were loving him. But now they're starting to see the light. Like,
by the way,
they loved him. They loved him based on the fact he went on Arsenio Hall. He played a sax. He got head in the whip without crashing it, and he smoked and he played a saxophone.
So you're saying it was superficial reasons that they loved him?
It was definitely superficial reasons. The same reasons a lot of black people like Barack Obama is superficial, because he has rhythm and can clap, and because he does little things that get caught on social media that we'll appreciate.
This is why you folks out there got to read Sports the Book. In chapter 14 is actually mentioned. But I was telling you about Clinton and his crime bill and put him at the table of gods with everybody else before it became popular to do it on this election. It was already written. You know what I'm saying? So just know that. Chapter 14, Sports the Book. But B. Austin, that's a great point.
It was written, meaning God meant it.
That's right. B. Austin, to your point, though, it's definitely everything that happens, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, is kind of bigger now because of our access to things. So you're right about that. And let's move on, because we could talk about this all day long.
Shout out to Blue, man.
Yeah, shout out to Blue. It's the right thing to do, man. So next time people say, no one cares about black on black crime and no one does something, and then listen, man.
Mentoring is important.
People out here showing the loafs, man. So give them credit, man. Yeah, I mean, show them the loafs. Page 32 of Sports the Book. It's already mentioned there too. Anyway,
and salute to Jason Phillips from Yonkers for that line.
Oh yeah. I definitely stole it from him. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, Ray and Janae Rice are expecting their second child. And I showed you guys what I found interesting about this is when I read the BET report, and it said Ray Rice expecting child with woman he beat in the elevator. I'm like, yo,
damn BET, damn Viacom.
They could have just said his wife. Like, what's the hats, man?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you know, ever since Bob Johnson, you know, sold out the company. I'm sorry, sold the company.
Sold out?
Excuse me, sold the company. You have to come to accept that
it was both. He sold out and sold the company.
I mean, these days it's more once in a while because BET took a lot of flack over the years. You know, once Viacom took over, you noticed that a lot of the programming, not almost all of the programming, was detrimental to the image of black people. Recently, it seems like they've made an effort because I guess the complaints have done something, but you get this type of stuff once in a while. Like, who the hell writes a headline like that?
I got a couple questions.
I'm not accusing Ray Rice in any way either, but that's not kind of headline.
So shout out to them for having a seat. But let me ask you a question, man, because B. Austin, you said he did sell out a little bit, and, you know, Dev said he sold out. I mean, I hear people say this often, right? And I don't have an opinion one way or another, but the same thing with, like, Carol's daughter and the same thing with Bob Johnson, right? So you have black entrepreneurs who build businesses up to a certain point, and then they sell. So a lot of times people say, well, that's part of business. You build businesses to sell. But then there's another sentiment that you should always keep things black-owned. Like, what part of him selling the business would you consider selling out, or is it just that he didn't?
See, Jim, it's not about just selling.
It's who you sold it to.
But the network is called Black Entertainment TV. You can't really sell that to a Jew. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, well, the thing about it is, like, at that level, there's only a couple people you can sell it to, whether it be Viacom or, you know what I mean? Who else you gonna sell it to? Comcast?
I disagree.
He could have financed it to some brother.
Yeah,
Let him put
I mean, the question. I know why Jimmy asked that question, which, on surface, that's an intelligent. It's a fair game question.
No, I really want to know the answer.
A deeper analysis of that would be quite easy. Number one, since if you go with there's no other black people that could have bought. Okay, well then finance it. Finance it. Give somebody the opportunity.
Okay, so now my question is taking the cash up front a better deal than financing it? So as a businessman, I guess the question now becomes, should he do the proper thing as a businessman, or should he, it's kind of I don't know what the right.
I got a question. I
don't have an issue.
I think the line of
and most businesses is just when you go out on a limb and you do something that you basically brand as a labor of love, and you put the description of your people on it, then it's a little bit different. Like, shout out to the homie Robert Littau from Black Sports Online, because his website is getting big. Let's say his website gets big enough and people offer him some money for it, like, it's just not going to look right for you to sell Black Sports Online to like Bob Goldstein and his company. Like,
yeah, and Bob Goldstein will definitely be in line to purchase it.
You got to get your money. But notice what you got to do. But I'm going to still talk
that Bob Goldstein's family is not going to sell their assets to Jamal Johnson or Malik Brown.
I totally get that.
Within that, wealth is transferred within communities that are bound together by their culture. So there's something within the culture that speaks to economic progress, wealth preservation, and wealth growth, right? So Bob Johnson comes from a place and a time in terms of his age where you could also point to the fact that, while in the time when you sold this, maybe our culture wasn't in a position where you could find a suitable young boy to kind of step up to the plate, but you come from a time when black culture was in a different state than it is now, and you could have adhered to where you came from. It didn't just have to be a money play, and contrary to people's belief, there are plenty of African American, I'll say there's plenty of black billionaires or people that are economically viable that could have made the purchase.
But here's the question, right? At the time, he got $1 billion for it. So it seemed to be a great deal for him. I mean, he lost half of that to his wife, but that's neither here nor there. But I just find it interesting because, and I understand what you mean. You could have financed it, but that's a decision that I see a lot of black business owners, not just him. I saw the same thing with Carol's daughter when they sold. So I just think it's an interesting discussion. And one other thing to add to that is if you look at where society is going and culture is going, most people now are cord cutters. There's a huge amount of cord cutters, which is why HBO is giving their stuff a la carte. That's why Netflix is big, Hulu and such. One of the things Bob Johnson did on the low that people don't even realize is he has his own Netflix for all black stuff. So he kind of did the same thing again, but it's all digital, called Urban Movie Channel. So you could actually get a subscription to that. So he's already moved in that lane, so he'll probably end up selling that to Viacom too. Anyway,
they got on there Menace and The Best Man, stuff like that.
They have stuff like that, but they also have the uplifting stories, independent stuff. But they have everything that we like. They got all that too. But that's neither here nor there because we start talking about Bob Johnson in relation to Ray and Janae Rice because that's what we do. Anyway, another story while you were on the grind. Space Jam 2 is allegedly confirmed and will star one LeBron Raymond James. You liar. LeBron told us in 2010 that he was going to be in he told us that he was entering the 2010 Slam Dunk Contest, and he never did. So you can't trust anything with his name attached. So he might not be in it. But what you guys think?
You know what? He still because we talked about this like maybe a year ago because the rumors came out, and he's still not really admitting to it himself. So I don't know what all the tight-lippedness is about, or if this is just not true. But we really, really, really don't know. So that's why we brought it to the people as allegedly or reportedly, because LeBron won't speak on it. I don't know why. It's just Space Jam, guys.
Yeah. I don't even want to know what Austin got.
I think
he's going to be in the next installment of Goodfellas. It's Space Jam.
I think LeBron likes to play both sides of the fence because I think what he'll do is he'll actually check his Q rating and check the barometer of social opinion before actually confirming whether he wants to do this. Like, if enough people push back and say that's Michael Jordan's role, and you ain't no Michael Jordan, you're 2-5 in the finals or 2-4, and you don't shoot at the end of the games, and that you're a little scared and your heart pumps Kool-Aid, then Maverick will make a decision to kind of pull him back from that, and they can go in another direction.
Unload a whole clip at LeBron.
But that's why I said I know he
can go in another direction.
Remember when he left, he was on some nobody should wear 23 in the league anymore. I'm changing to 6 when I go to Miami. He came back to Cleveland like, F Michael Jordan. I'm putting 23 back on.
And everybody knows, right? Everybody knows that I'm very critical of one Michael Jeffrey Jordan, man. But some of you LeBron fans, y'all feel. Because I got to it with a LeBron fan this week because I guess when Cleveland won a game, he passed like Michael Jordan for the more playoff wins or something like that. And just telling me how, this is evidence of LeBron being better than Mike. You guys know I'm not the Michael Jordan fan. I'm like, listen, I deal with analytics every day. You can't hear me?
You've been breaking up for like the last.
Oh, my bad. I was talking too much fire coming out. Did you hear what I said in reference to Michael
basically,
Jordan?
you're saying that Michael Jordan is the greatest. He's better than Magic. And the LeBron stands are out of control for even trying to make that comparison by aggregating those wins. Aggregating wins as opposed to looking at win percentage and the context around the victories and Mike being 6-0 when he got to the big platform. I got you. I understand.
All I was saying is that if you want to start pointing at stats, always look at the context. That's all I was saying. Had nothing to do with Michael Jordan, selling on people and being over sellout than Bob Johnson. But anyway, shout out to Bob Johnson.
All right, Jimmy.
Michael Jordan didn't want to hear that. Michael Jordan didn't want to hear that. He didn't want to hear that sacrilege. He shut it down.
Hey, so
I was about to tell y'all about Floyd, man.
Yeah. I didn't know. I'm like, should I take over? Like, is he going?
No, I'm here.
Is he dead?
Nike.
What you mean is he dead? He got all types of blood coming out.
Yo, Nike, leave me alone, Nike. Listen, man. Yo, Floyd Money Mayweather, man, company files for 50 related trademarks. They filed for trademarks in relation to the number 50. Floyd is 49.
We got to say that differently because people are going to think they
filed. People want to take it the wrong way. Not 50,
There's
but
about 2 of them.
It's trademarked in relation to the number 50 because he is 49-0, which people are thinking indicates that he will be back to squabble with someone to try to get his 50th win.
Right.
I just hope
I'm rooting for Rocky Marciano.
Danny Garcia, man.
The two trademarks are TBE 50 and TMT 50. So, he's been talking to Showtime and CBS about a possible return. This doesn't surprise anybody. And, we've spoken on this show many times about the fact that, like, it wouldn't even make sense for him to go out 49-0. Like, either tie – 3 reasons, he could go over 49 fights. Either you want to tie the record, to be undefeated with Rocky Marciano, you can fight 2 more and break the record and be alone with 51-0, or you simply just don't want to leave off with an uneven number like 49. It just makes no sense. Like, you want to get your 50th in. So I still fully believe he's coming back.
Hold up,
who the potential opponent will be, that's the interesting part about all this. Who do y'all think he'll give a shot to?
I'm hoping it's Danny. That's all I want to see. I want to see Danny get a shot because the thing about fighting Floyd is, you really can't lose based upon your based upon the purse you'll get.
Yeah, because people expect you to lose, so they're not going to look bad upon you if you lose, and you're going to get the biggest purse of your life.
But hold on, though, Dennis. I was trying to figure out what you said in reference to the number. You said he can go 50-0 and tie Rocky Marciano?
Yeah, because Rocky Marciano, wasn't he 50-0?
No, he was 49.
No, it's 49. He can beat Rocky.
I'm sorry. All right, well, he can surpass him with just one more fight.
Yeah, he can. Yeah, right. One more win. One more win. Yeah, that's 2 things. It gives you 50, which is that nice round number.
So he wouldn't need to do the 2. He can fight one more and he can satisfy all 3 things that I just talked about. Exactly. So one more fight. He got to do it. I mean, it's smart. I mean, Floyd, what he's trying to do is guarantee that he can, make a guaranteed $100 million plus and whoever he fights. So I'm thinking some of the people, like I would love to see Danny get a shot, but I don't even know if Floyd is thinking about Danny Garcia on that level. Money
it's Amir Khan.
I'm thinking Amir Khan. I think his name is in the mix, but I don't even think him. I think a rematch with Canelo might do something, especially if Canelo knocks Amir Khan out this weekend. I don't look down on Canelo like that. I think Canelo, they were too excited. They threw Canelo in with Floyd too early because Canelo was rising so fast. Like, you give him a little bit more experience. I think he might be able to put up a better fight next time, even though he did nothing in the first fight to.
Floyd gave him a lesson.
Yeah, I'm about to say he did nothing in the first fight to really make that a solid statement.
I don't think Canelo won one round in that first fight. Floyd.
I don't think Canelo knew where Floyd was because when he was hitting at nothing.
He's still looking for him right now.
I think, and I know y'all don't want to hear this. I think a rematch with Manny would be a potential. Floyd's potential. I mean, you're saying money draw. You think if Floyd won't do that, he's about that coin, dog.
I don't care about Manny. I personally,
I'm not saying y'all want to see it or I want to see it. I'm just saying that's his name has to be floated in there because Floyd is looking for a guaranteed $100 million to come back. So
yeah, listen, man. I just also want to send a shout out to Julio Cesar Chavez. My man got 107 wins. Like, we talking about Floyd.
It really didn't lose. It really didn't lose until he was old and he should have lost. He just should have quit.
Did y'all see Max Kellerman break down why Floyd isn't pound for pound the best fighter?
Well, hold on. Let me finish the point, though, B. Austin. At one time, Julio Cesar Chavez was 87-0 before he lost his we got a draw first to Pernell Whitaker. He was 87-0. Yo, my man was 87-0.
So if he quit, like, these little records would be nothing. Like, Floyd would have nothing to come back for. If he would have quit when he was supposed to.
But here's the thing about that, though. His first 26 wins, didn't come in the United States.
He fought nobody.
He was fighting like Adonis was in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, he was down in Tijuana fighting like 3 times a week.
Yo, that's crazy.
Knocking out, like, the dudes at the taco truck. But...
Yo, he started fighting in like 1980.
Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Yo, he started fighting in 1980 and didn't get his first loss in 1994.
Damn.
He was 89-01.
Yo.
Yo.
He better than Floyd.
But so that's what happened while you were on the ground, man. Floyd filed for those trademarks. No one's surprised about him trying to get 50. Like, who's really surprised?
All right, well, I'm going to do these birthdays and this quick media blast. Jim, see if we got Fred on the line to recap the draft real quick. These birthdays, of course, are brought to you by Digital Extreme Technologies. Do you or your business need a custom website? Well, for dynamic, professional, and most of all, affordable custom website solutions, you need Digital Extreme Technologies. No need to break the bank for an effective online presence. Top quality, results-driven websites at incredibly affordable prices. And unlike Bob Johnson, the people at Digital Extreme Technologies will let you put something on it. There are financing options available. Visit Digital Extreme Tech or call 267-205-4203. And for those discounted rates, be sure to tell them that the fellas over at War Room Sports sent you right on over. All right, so we're going to give some quick birthday shout-outs. Y'all know what it is. Birthday! Yay! Shout out to DeMar Johnson, former NBA player who unfortunately got into that bad car accident from the DMV area. He turns 36. One of B. Austin's former spiritual leaders from the NFL, Muhsin Muhammad, turns 43. Yes. Shout out to Muhsin Muhammad.
Peace be upon him.
Probably an underrated
Allahu
receiver
Akbar.
as the all-time ranks go. Baby Jordan. Not so much. Harold Miner turns 45. Shout out to fake Baby Jordan. LaFonso Ellis. Yo, they called him Baby Jordan because he was dark-skinned, had a bald head, and could jump. Yo, he had no J. He had no handle.
He had no handle. He had no moves.
He was dark-skinned, he was bald-headed, and he could jump. That's how you got the title Baby Jordan back then. He used to try to set him up. Dunk, though. And shout out to LaFonso Ellis, one of the great college players of all time. But
I'm glad you qualified that.
He won something in the league.
Y'all thought I was going somewhere else with that. Shout out to LaFonso who turned 46
Yeah, I was
years
fooled.
old. We like to give everybody that we just mentioned a nice warm salute. For all these
Gives us
folks
a
on their
Alfonso.
birthday. Real quick
Alfonso?
before we get
Hey,
Fred
Devin
Perdue
B.
on-
Austin.
Yo.
I got a question in the chat room. They said if one Gerard Goldstein comes and makes War Room Sports $1 billion offer, are we going to be taking that $1 billion, or are we going to be talking about trying to finance it for somebody else?
No, we're going to take
Ain't
$1
no-
billion.
if there ain't no
This is called
competing
War Room
offers.
Sports. This ain't called Black Room Sports.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to
that.
take the $1 billion. Has your question been answered? Hell yeah. Remember, our conversation was about black entertainment television. Now, if we name this joint Black Room Sports, we'd have to think about that.
We ain't thinking about that either way. Cut it out.
But a Billy? Yeah.
Cut it out.
Yeah, like
think about that either
if it
way.
was Black Room Sports, we'd be selling out like Mark dude.
Yo,
We'd
I
just be
sold
talking
the
about
Donald
ourselves.
Trump for $1 billion.
We'd be
Got a
selling
little
out
island of my
music,
very
bro,
own. I got
talking
a
about
frog, a
ourselves.
dog, and a solid gold bone.
I got some stuff I've done in my life I'm not proud of. I'll just, talk about it while I'm sitting on my private island.
How am I help the poor if I'm one of them?
I know. I'm going to be wiring them money from my island off the coast of Haiti. Y'all can check out our website at warroomsports.com while you're there. Make sure you take your time, look around. Click on the Contact Us tab to send a message about our company, our show, or to inquire about sponsorship and advertising opportunities or joining the network. Y'all better get on board now before Jared Goldstein offers us that money. You want to be on board before the money comes. We know how y'all like to, jump on late. Be trying to tell us to tweet out your company name and all that. It don't work that way. For general inquiries, email us, info@warroomsports.com. While you're browsing the site, click on the memorabilia tab to buy War Room Sports merchandise. Click the blog tab to read our latest articles in the All's Fair in Sports and More blog. Then click the respective icons and tabs to like our Facebook page, to follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our iTunes podcast, and to watch our webcast at War Room Sports TV. To listen to our WRS Podcast Network and to download our free War Room Sports mobile app to get everything I just mentioned on the go. In the JW Philly chat room right now during the show at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. To enter the chat room, feel free to follow on Blog Talk Radio. If you don't want to create an account, you can sign in through your Facebook or Twitter accounts, and while you're at it, click follow to get updates and reminders about the show. We'll be taking questions and reading posts from Facebook, Twitter, and the chat room during the show. But if you want to call in and speak with us, the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline will be open right after Fred Perdue makes his appearance. That number is 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. Yo, do y'all remember a time before people really, really caught on to the reason and the method behind podcasting? The fact that you can listen to stuff whenever you feel like it. Y'all remember a time before people really found that out and the chat room used to be popping?
Yeah.
Shout out
like
to
47
Yo.
and Casey.
God,
Mack,
you be holding
they'll
it
be
down
with us
now.
every week. But other people, I guess,
that's-
they listen to because the numbers have increased as far as,
Yo, our
people
numbers
listen
is
to the
crazy,
show.
but don't nobody be in the
Definitely.
chat room.
Yeah, but
Yo,
it's
man.
definitely
That's
the numbers
because,
definitely come after the live show. Like,
Yeah, people realize the whole power of podcasting. We've been podcasting before it was cool to podcast. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to us for that.
and Skyview,
No doubt.
if we don't take that offer from Jared Goldstein and Gerard Goldstein, a couple years later we're gonna be sitting around talking about we should have huddled.
Yeah, we
ain't-
definitely will. It's gonna
we
be
ain't
a
gonna be
30.
sitting around like, man, we should have
It's
huddled.
gonna be a 30 for 30 on War Room Sports called Shoulda Huddle.
They definitely should have. All right, so let's recap this NFL draft real quick. And to do that with us, of course, we got the man, Fred Perdue, on the line. Fred, what's going on, bro?
What's going on, fellas?
Hey, my man Freddie Perdone, you hugging stuffed animals now, my dude?
I'm gonna leave that to you, man. I'm gonna leave that to you, bro. I'm gonna leave that to you.
I got the
I'm gonna leave
pictures.
that to you.
Don't do it. I got the pictures.
Hey, man, just
Even
to
put you on that
preface
Summer
all of
Jam
this,
screen.
It was not a stuffed animal. It was a crying face emoji. Okay.
That ain't even. That's worse.
That was
No, it wasn't. It wasn't worse. It wasn't
B,
worse.
it wasn't a stuffed animal. It was a stuffed emoji, man.
Listen, man. He just finished listening to Drake and he wanted to express himself, man. I got you, Fred.
He was emotional. I got you.
Continue, Fred.
Nah, it was awful.
All right, so Fred, I know you were in your wheelhouse last week. I know it was an exciting time for you. The NFL draft was taking place. Now that you had a week to basically, just calm yourself down a little bit, and you got a chance to take everything in. What did you think from the draft? What are your takeaways? What are your biggest takeaways from the NFL draft?
A lot of things happened like I thought they would. First, 1 and 2 went exactly like I thought they would. Jared Goff goes out to LA, stays home. Carson Wentz goes to your Eagles. Not the biggest fan of either pick, but when you need a quarterback, you need a quarterback, right? So you got to go after him. If you don't have a quarterback, it doesn't matter what you have. It really doesn't matter because you're going to be out of the race.
I don't necessarily think the Eagles needed a quarterback, though. I mean, besides the fact that Bradford probably will get injured again, I don't think they were in that desperate of a need that they had to do that in this draft. But
they need more than a quarterback.
I can't wait till Tom Brady retires, Joe. I cannot wait till Tom Brady retires.
Somebody's salty because their team took a quarterback that won't be ready to play for the next 3 years. But,
First off, address us as champs when you talk to us, dog.
When you get 4, let me know.
Whoa, when you get 4, let me know. When you start cheating, let me know. When you win one without cheating, let me know.
When you get 4, let me know.
When you win a championship under multiple coaches and not just one lucky reign, then you let me know. Y'all got one little quick run. When you win them under multiple coaches, then holler at me.
Okay.
Continue.
Cool. Enjoy the top 5 next year. Okay. Cool.
Continue.
All right. Next. As far as surprises, I guess if you want to say a surprise, and it was for me, the Chargers taking Joey Bosa. I really wasn't expecting that, and I like the pick. I really thought they would actually go after an offensive lineman, like I said last week. Phillip Rivers, his offensive line is in his back pocket as soon as the ball is snapped. Why not go after an offensive tackle or at least secure an offensive lineman early because the elite ones are there early. But Joey Bosa, very good pick. They have a pretty good defensive line now between him, Corey Legit, also Jeremiah Tauchu and Melvin Ingram from previous years. Their pass rush should be okay. The Jaguars were one of my biggest winners. They not only got Jalen Ramsey, the best player in this draft, hands down, no questions asked, but also they secured Myles Jack, who somewhat sabotaged himself in the draft, telling everyone about his knee injury and how he possibly could need microfracture surgery. You don't say any of that before the draft, but being a second-round pick to this Jaguars team where you add on not just him but also Jalen Ramsey, I like how this defense is going. Their offense is pretty good now. They just need to progress. You have Allen Hurns. You have Allen Robinson, who's going to be the next guy at receiver who takes that next step if he continues to improve. I would have liked to see them go after an offensive lineman, maybe a Jason Spriggs early, maybe trade back up and try to go get Jason Spriggs or some elite offensive lineman. Simply put, their offensive line is not great, and Luke Joeckel was not his fifth-year option was not out. This one will be a little surprising. Go ahead.
Do you think the Cowboys reached a little to take Jalen Smith in the second round, or do you think some other teams may have been eyeing that gamble around that time, or do you think they could have waited a little?
I thought that was a smart move, only because Jalen Smith may have possibly fell anywhere to maybe the fourth round because of the injuries, and I think he's gonna have that support system around him. He has multiple players that have been injured, so you'll know how to handle an injury. That pick wasn't the surprising one. The surprising pick for me was taking a running back top 5. At number 4, you take Ezekiel Elliott when you already have Alfred Morrison and Darren McFadden. I'm sorry, you don't need another running back. deal with what you have, and go after either an offensive lineman, trade back, or take Jalen Ramsey. You don't take a running back and in the top 5. And like I said last week, I will never justify taking a running back in the first round, much less in the top 5.
Right, and I know a lot of Cowboys fans who were actually excited about even their first 2 picks. I wasn't really sure, I wasn't clear on the excitement for the second-round pick for somebody who might not even play the whole year next year, even though Jerry Jones said they won't put him on injured reserve when the season starts because they're optimistic he'll be back for the playoffs. He didn't say if we make it, but I'm saying if they make the playoffs. The Elliott pick, it's like you got a good player. I do think he'll be a good NFL player. But like you, I'm thinking, I don't know if that's what this team needed right here, because from the performance of the offensive line the last 2 years, you have some pretty good horses back there as long as they stay healthy. I'm not really sure if you needed to go top 5 with a running back, but I mean, he should make a sizable difference on the team. But I definitely agree with you. Don't think it was a value pick at number 5.
Let's be honest. We could all run very well behind that offensive line. I'm sorry, but I would never. If I'm Dallas, why? Why not go use that pick on a quarterback, trade back and go get a quarterback or an offensive lineman? I'm sorry, Jalen Ramsey is right there for you. Take him.
I did think it was time for them to
putrid.
I did think it was time for them to look quarterback. Because, I mean, if you look at their season, you got Jerry Jones now saying, when we, back for the playoff time. And they definitely have a playoff team. But if you're putting it all in the hands of one guy, if Tony Romo gets injured and your team gets that bad once he gets injured, I think it's time to look at that position, as far as a good backup and for the future. Because Tony Romo isn't young. Tony Romo has been getting injured for the past few seasons. So, I kind of thought they could have, made some great value by trading back, getting some extra picks and looking at a quarterback if they were going to go skill position like that high draft. But their fans are excited, so I guess that's all that
their
matters.
Fans are excited.
Jerry Jones back to his usual stuff.
Of course, between Rex Ryan and Jerry Jones are the biggest hype men for an NFL team that doesn't make the playoffs. But go figure.
All right. Real quick before we get you out of here, the Laramie Tunsil situation. We all know the story, but I was a little shocked that during draft coverage, the actual draft, not just news outlets, doing stuff while the draft was going on, but during draft coverage, were you surprised to see them plastering the photo and the video of him and his gas mask bong, on TV during the draft? Was it just me? I was just a little shocked by that.
I'm not surprised. I'm really not. Simply put, we live in the media age where everything and everything is put on TV and gotcha. Exactly. It's all out there. So I'm not surprised, but I actually like the pick by the Miami Dolphins. Believe it or not, I actually said it, and it's recorded, and you'll never get this again probably. So make sure you cherish this. The Miami Dolphins made a smart pick. So and it's not right now. It's a luxury pick, but if you can develop him into what you need him to be. He can be a very, very serviceable player. Right now, you have Brandon Albert on the outside at left tackle. He's 32. He's not getting any younger. Jawan James from Tennessee a couple years before at right tackle. He's your one bookend. Now you go get you get Laramie Tunsil. You can put him at in the middle at either guard spot, and you can run the football with him. You have Mark. Let
me even give you some reprieve from praising the Dolphins, because I know you don't like to do that. How smart is it really? Everybody else passed on him. He's just laying there. Somebody got to take him. So it's it didn't really take rocket science. They didn't do anything to put themselves in a position. He was a top 5 or 6 pick. So I know you don't like giving the Dolphins props. So I'm gonna go ahead and crap on.
Fred, I have a question for you. Fred, here's my question. My question is, what's more dangerous? Is it more dangerous smoking cannabis with a gas mask or playing the game of football?
Playing the game of football is definitely more dangerous.
Oh, that's all. That's all I want to know.
Of course, marijuana is. I've been against this whole marijuana thing in the NFL. They're gonna smoke it. I mean, at the end of the day, if it's not, I'd be worried if he was
legalize it.
If he was smoking it. Now, I wonder what.
Yo, the herb, brethren, the herb is from the earth. God give us
for me.
God give us
I
the
don't
herb
care
for us
what
to
he
grow
was
it
smoking.
and to
I
treat
don't
us.
care what he was smoking. Young dudes, stop filming everything you do. Stop taking photos. They're gonna get out somewhere. Like, stop it. That's all I'm saying.
I go?
Smoke what you
I want
want.
to go.
You can shoot Harris for the draft if you want. Stop filming it.
The question wasn't
R.I.P. to Peter Tosh.
The marijuana wasn't the problem. It was the flag that was behind him. That was my problem. But I digress. But
man, all I want to know is how high are you really trying to get when you straight put a gas mask on with a bomb? Like, my man was trying to leave the earth.
Jimmy, were you asking the expert or were you just making a rhetorical?
I don't want you to incriminate yourself. My man was trying to put himself in a whole different place.
Yo, I'm gonna go smoke something with a scuba gear on.
Oh man, he's trying to put on.
He's a fireman.
VR. He's trying to put on VR goggles without doing so. He's trying to send himself to a different place.
Another level, man. Scuba gear.
I will say in this draft was it had a lot of twists and turns. More than I think the only draft class I didn't like, and I'm gonna stay home with this one. I'm still trying to figure out what Coach Belichick is doing here. You draft a quarterback in Jacoby Brissett who hasn't really done much as a backup. You go after an offensive lineman who isn't all that great, a defensive lineman in Valentine who needs a motivator, and while he's the better player from Nebraska, but he needs some motivation. How much motivation do you need to play in the NFL? So for me, I really wonder about that one. And the other head scratcher I had was, and it made when I went back and I actually kind of did a little bit of digging. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking a kicker in the second round. Alberto.
When I saw that, I'm like, come on.
It went across the ticker, and I'm sitting there, and I'm saying, what are you doing, Tampa? And then I went back, and I said, and they went 6-10, but the majority of their losses came because they didn't have a kicker to win them a game. So it makes sense.
But second round, though. Second round.
Yes, and I don't like the. Someone else would have got him, as Jameis Winston says about his teammate Berto, as they call him. He's the most sure-footed kicker you're going to see in a long time. I probably
Dude must be kicking 75-yard field goals. Second rounder.
Dude didn't miss any field goal. He didn't miss an extra point, and we know how important the extra point is. He didn't miss an extra point in his whole career, and I think if I remember correctly, he only missed one kick from 40 yards or more. So in his career at Florida State, he didn't. That's huge. And it may not.
I usually don't root for anybody to fail, but I'm just. But I'm saying, like,
I'm trying to justify it here, but
I want to see this backfire.
That pick really made me scratch my head, but in reality,
hold on though. They took him like the second round, right?
Yeah, they took him in the second round.
Because my thing
it could be worse. It could be worse. You could have been the Raiders and taken a quick kicker in the first round. But
Janikowski was the 17th pick overall.
And he better be like Janikowski, where the team never lets him go, because Bo's still kicking for the same team. Like,
he's still putting up numbers.
They're like, man, we up there.
Feebass was literally the 17th pick overall.
Yeah, but he ain't really helped them win none. So
I mean, they've
been
Raiders.
to the bowl since he's been there. That's what I'm saying. The Raiders are the type of teams that make these kind of picks. The Buccaneers trying to flirt with that Raider territory.
I just want you to slander the Raiders. That's all. But go ahead, though.
They're gonna have like the best kicker in the league for like 20 years, but be like 6-10 every year. Come on, man. All right, Fred, man. Let everybody know how they can get in contact with you.
All right, guys. You guys can get in contact with me. Twitter, FPurdue Sports. You can always check me out there. I'm always talking NFL draft, college football. Even though we're going into a bit of a dead period, I might have to slander Texas A&M in this next couple of days. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just go check out a lot of the stories that are going on. They can't recruit a quarterback, and their coaches can't keep him in the house either. So make sure you check me out at collegefootball.about.com for the latest in college football action and recruiting, because Texas A&M just can't get their stuff together there. And always, you guys catch me in the War Room every Thursday, talking some college football and a little NFL draft. No basketball though. No basketball.
Yeah. Keep Fred away from basketball. All right, man. Thanks, bro. We appreciate it.
All right, man. All right, guys. Thanks for having me on.
No doubt. Zach Randolph can't go left.
Purdue, everybody.
Let's go, Heat.
Yeah. Look, Jim, tell everybody who Hot Topics are brought to them by real quick, and then we'll take some of these calls because the line's blowing up. Folks don't want to wait for that point guard conversation. They want it now.
Yeah, they probably want to talk about Tunsil and smoking the grass. But anyway, the Hot Topics are brought to you by Audible. If your schedule is too hectic to read as much as you want, try audiobooks and kick back and let someone else do the reading for you. Here's how you do it. Go to audibletrial.com/warroomsports. That's audibletrial.com/warroomsports and get yourself a free audiobook. A lot of great sports books are out there. Mike Tyson, Jalen Rose, Bill Russell, all kinds of great sports books. audibletrial.com/warroomsports, and we'd like to thank Audible for their support of our podcast.
No doubt. Jim, what did you think about your Lakers hiring Luke Walton?
Here's my thing. Like, my team is terrible. We've been terrible for years. I don't think it matters who we hire at this point.
Right.
It's all about what we can do in free agency now, and also, just
Paul
just
George.
how to, yeah, that's a rumor. Paul George. I heard a lot of different rumors. I heard Paul George is a rumor. A lot of different things, but
that cat might very well be my favorite player in the league right now.
I know you always bigging him up.
Yo, because it's like, he still be a little bit off the radar, but then when you watch him play, you're like, yo, this dude really got game. Yeah, I don't care what nobody say. He's still better than Kawhi Leonard.
Yo, shout out to Kawhi Leonard, man. You're doing it for all the autistic kids out there, man. Kawhi is definitely my favorite player in the league, honestly.
Man.
My favorite player in the league.
Gonna get a suit.
Yo, my favorite player in the league, honestly, might be LaMarcus Aldridge, because LaMarcus Aldridge gives you quiet 48. And he'll put 40 on you and it'll be quiet. Like,
he'll put 40 on you and don't nobody know he got 40. No one gets excited.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like,
we're going to have Autism Speaks on our back.
Man.
We got to give 10.
Done here.
No, that's really been the thing. Some people are saying that about the young man. I mean, listen, but he's balling. Like, Kawhi is that guy now. So salute to him. But yeah, man, I don't think it really matters right now in terms of who we pick as a coach. He is the coach of the year, even though he didn't get that. I'm saying that. But
you do what I say, coach, backup coach of the year.
Listen, Byron Scott is a terrible coach and an awesome human being. So it's definitely an upgrade. I mean, anybody would have been an upgrade.
It's weird, though, what y'all got, 16, 17 chips? It's weird to see a franchise like that jump into the first-time coach business. You know what I mean?
Hey, listen, man.
I we need to switch it up.
But I told y'all years ago that when Dr. Bus died, I told y'all, man, this was a great run, man. I told y'all, we're not the Lakers no more.
Yeah, but if Mike Brown can get a job there, then Luke got to get a chance.
Dog. We not the Lakers no more, man. We just not the Lakers right now, B. We not. Yeah. We should change our colors from purple and gold until Jim Buss gives up his reign. But anyway,
further notice. What we got on the digital, man?
Man, we got a ton of calls on the digital. Let's get to let's get to the homie Mont. Mont, what's going on?
What's going on, fellas?
Yeah, okay,
I got my gas mask on.
I heard that.
Burn the chalice, my youth. Burn the chalice.
Becky with the good hair definitely looking thick on the yacht. Never mind.
So look, real quick, I wanted to get at y'all. Y'all touched on two stories that I thought were awesome today. The Aaron McKie story and the BET selling out the Viacom story. And my issue is this: what Aaron McKie did for the city of Philadelphia and the youth in the city, and it's awesome. Can't deny that. can't deny that helping and chipping out building this rec center is an awesome thing. My issue with that, however, is why are black athletes, black entertainers that come from inner cities, why do we keep building rec centers? Like, why are we not building centers of education to educate people on the economics in their community?
Mott went straight to the STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
To be fair,
exactly. I mean,
his center has an education wing. I'm not really sure what they're going to be teaching, but the center does have an education wing. I just failed to mention that. That's my bad.
Most of these places do. They have it.
But do they use them is the question.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the afterthought. The main purpose there is that it's got 8 basketball courts, which is dope.
And here's my answer to that, Lamont. Like, I agree that it definitely should be. And like you said, most of them have an educational component, but it could be used for that. And the reason they do this a lot of times is because that's where they come from. They came from these rec centers, so that's what they know. The bigger question is we have people who leave the hood and become, successful in business, and they don't come back to teach these lessons or put in these centers in there. You know what I mean? The athletes are doing what they know. They know, like, yo.
To be awesome.
I hear that. I hear that argument, but it ain't enough to say that's what they know. Like, because these people that are doing that, these are the athletes that's what they knew growing up, but they've also gotten schooled as they got their riches. Like Aaron McKee, you don't hear about him doing nothing monetarily, but Aaron McKee is banking. Like, he getting money right now. And there's somebody that pulled his coattails, told him how to invest, told him about this economic game.
I mean,
being able to do this.
My brother, you talking about cultural. You talking about culture.
But also, like, we also know 80% of them.
About.
80% of them go broke, like, without 4 or 5 years out the league. 80% of them go broke. So we do know that. But I get your point.
Exactly.
The thing is, it also takes a village, right? So when this rec center comes up and they say we have an educational component, it's up to the people in the neighborhoods to hold them accountable for the educational piece. Just don't let it become another hooping place. He has to be held accountable. If you're saying this is what it's going to be, let's have that.
Yeah, but what they were just saying, Jim, like in the neighborhood, that's not really the culture. So you can't really put that on the people of the neighborhood because you're not.
No, you're right. You're right. But here's the thing. You said you can promote it from the door, but most people aren't going to take that from Aaron McKee, which is why I brought up the point of people who actually leave the hood, B. Austin, who succeed in business, and because most of the things with these young boys is like, yo, you can't tell me nothing if you ain't do it. So they're going to look at Aaron McKee like, yeah, you got your money because you went to the NBA. I want to go to the NBA. But, if a brother like B. Austin, decided to come out of the woodworks and do what he got to do, then they can say, okay, you made it in banking. You made millions in banking. So
let me clear it up, though. Let me read this. And you can, take it how you will. Notice that the educational component is the last thing I'm going to mention. It says the $25 million state-of-the-art community center in North Philadelphia, 120,000 square foot facility will have 8 indoor and 8 outdoor basketball courts, a health and wellness wing with healthy foods, strength training, a counselor and rehabilitation center, and an education wing complete with classrooms, a computer lab, and a library. So you got to just make sure that the classrooms, the computer lab, and the library aren't ghost towns while everybody's on the basketball court.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. They got to be taught the arts. The arts have been taken out of school, so there's a whole lot that has to go into these things. But I totally get your point, man.
Here?
Okay.
I hear what y'all. I'm sorry, I'm outside. I got a neighbor talking. I'm out here on the barbecue, like.
He out there with that gas
Mine out there
mask
building
on.
Community centers.
He got that gas mask on out there. That's what he's doing.
Mine at the basketball court.
I definitely have my gas mask on. I hear what y'all saying. I'm just saying, like, I get what you're saying about Aaron McKee. He doesn't have necessarily the cachet to come into the communities and go, this is what we doing.
Yo, Aaron McKee doesn't even know the words you just used. Cachet.
Aaron got a bachelor's from Temple.
What did he mean?
Yeah, he got a degree. He's learned a couple words over the years.
So I love when people say that. When they try to say that someone's smart, he got a degree. Some of the dumbest people I know got a degree.
No, I know so many people that already devalue my degree. Like, yo, he graduated. My degree means nothing if this cat graduated.
And
I ain't gonna front because Aaron McKee wrote this article that I saw, and he did spelled gratifying with a D, like gratifying.
Yeah!
I bet you ain't even peep that.
Yo, my man
Y'all know
is
I'm an editor. So peep that guy.
Shout out to Blue, man. Shout out to Blue.
Yo, my man is taking $25 million and giving back to the community. Mark slandering him for not doing something different. Dev slandering him for his spelling.
Bull spell.
No, I'm not getting that Aaron McKee. I'm not getting that Aaron McKee. I'm getting that black celebrity, period. I'm talking about Will Smith, Oprah Winfrey, all of these guys. Somebody has told them how to invest, and that's what they're not giving back to the community. And that's why you have people like the boy from BET selling the Viacom, because they don't know how to keep it into the community. And it just keeps, the cycle just keeps perpetuating itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
So I'm going to hop off and let y'all discuss it. But,
hey, Mark, quick question for you. If Johnny Goldberg tried to buy your art studio and offered you $1 billion, would you sell it to him or say no? I'm a finance Jerome.
I sell it to him for $50,000 right now.
All right, that's all I want to know. That's all I want to know.
All right, lady.
All right, cuz.
That's what I say. I ain't got Bob Johnson's money, so hell yeah.
We all sellouts, man. We just sit up here and we judge everybody else, man. Yo, shout out to
that's what we do. We the radio guy. Shout out to Charlamagne. We the radio guy.
Yeah,
judge people.
Don't come for the radio guy.
When we get in the same position,
the radio guy.
When we get in the same position, you just judge your mother.
You wouldn't say that to Floyd in his face.
I know Tobias has an opinion on both of those things, man. We got the homie Tobias, Roll Dan Todd. Tobias, what is your opinion, good brother? Because you're very outspoken on topics such as these.
All right, before I get going on that, first thing first.
Gonna say Aaron a coon. Oh, I'm sorry.
I ain't gonna say that. But I got
more, Tobias or Willie D? Because I don't know which one.
Nah, I'll say this real quick. First thing
wrote
first.
The song for him. Go ahead.
Hey guys, all right, yeah.
We here.
Hey, I'll say this real quick before I get going on this. What y'all talking about? I believe Luke Walton made a mistake taking that job. First things first. I believe he should have gone to Kirby Smart.
You?
Building.
Huh?
Oh, there he is. You cut out.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up for a minute. What did you say?
Hey, can you hear me now? I was saying like Luke Walton. I said Luke Walton should have taken the Kirby Smart at Alabama approach looking for a job. And they just hop on his Lakers job because they're so far away from being good again that it could damage him. And so like Kirby Smart waited, and he ended up with a Georgia job. So even if he may end up being like Mark Richt, he can land on his feet. And I believe some of those coaches got to understand that sometimes, you know. But I'll say this about the top. It's like I'll say this about Aaron McKee now to my BET. Aaron McKee, like I haven't heard the story. I got the bits and pieces y'all talking about. My thing is that I have no beef with what people try to do with that stuff. But we need to stop. Sometimes we need to take the basketball out of folks' hands. Sometimes we need to take the bat out of folks' hands and put you in front of this computer, teach you how to, like the brother said, and invest your money.
True.
Because we got kids. We got too many of our kids banking on the golden ticket of trying to make the league. And we get and you got a perfect example. Brian Scalabrine you can't get a shot off against this guy. And this guy's riding the bench and fetching towels. But we got so many kids thinking that's the way out. But there are so many other ways, like in banking, entrepreneurship, attorneys, doctors, all kinds of STEM fields. You don't have to go to college to create an app. You can make millions of dollars.
I agree.
And,
here's my solution to that. Right, it goes with what Juan said, and also with what you're saying. One of the things we don't have as a people, as African people, is we're not really unified, and our networking game is not on a par with the rest because. Aaron McKee could have did what Mont said by just putting his money up and finding someone else to be the face for it. You know what I mean? Like he could have went to a black banker like a B. Austin or a black attorney and said, "Look, I want to invest into the neighborhood, but I don't want to do the traditional courts." I don't think he could have did it under his own name, but if we had, a stronger, networks, then it could have been done.
More black banks, and you know what? And also, like, here's the other thing. First, I hope B. Austin, I got some credit I need you to clean up, by the way. B.
Austin don't touch deals unless they $10 million or more, man. He's a big time banker.
I know, man. Hey, it
don't do that.
Hey,
don't
but
do
anyway,
that, dude.
I know, but you know what? No, but here's the thing. Well, a lot of stuff is that I believe is that that's another reason we need more black banks and we hit those black banks. Because we don't need anyone else controlling our product. like BET, for example. Remember when Bill Cosby tried to buy NBC? He could have offered them $20 billion, but they still won't sell it to that N-word, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't want him controlling what they built. And
that's
the problem is that...
That's why they freed him 30 years later. My fault, go ahead.
Yeah, and you know what? It's like with BET, for example.
Bill guilty.
Yes, and something like this right here. I can't tell a man what to do, but the problem with our community is we don't understand legacy. We don't understand our parents have a business. We don't have that same pride as some of these other communities do in their parents' businesses. It's not just a cash making opportunity. It is an opportunity to create a legacy with programming you controlling, with black people you could hire that could do your own black news, that you could do your own black movies and TV shows that you control. Because at the end of the day, Viacom controls all that.
That's true. But here's the thing, though, right? And it's a lot of ways to look at this, but to Bob Johnson's credit, he looked at that as a step into doing those things. When he sold for $1 billion, he set up several other companies with that money. It just happened at a time where the country went through a huge downswing. But he took that money to try to set up several other companies to do some of the things you're talking about. But your point is well taken, Tobias. Thanks for the call as always. Hit us back next week so you can call some more people coons.
No,
hey, don't have me waiting 3 hours like you did last time. Man, y'all be doing me dirty, man. I'm kidding.
Oh, my
but, hey,
God.
I love y'all show, man.
Hey, by the way, before we open up the phone lines, man.
Hey, and by the way, I see Fred out there got his new gig now, letting his hair grow out now and stuff, got the new gear on. Fred, hey, I see Fred now.
Out there hugging stuffed animals.
I know.
All right,
you guys have a good one, man.
Take it easy, homie.
All right, peace.
Yo, man. He always killing Fred.
Kill Fred.
Yo, let's get yo. We got the homie Rob calling from Cali. Rob. Yo, Rob.
Hello.
Yo. What's the AKAs, man? Let us know the AKAs today, man.
AKA gas mask.
Gas mask. Well, I guess you could say, man, my breath is smelling like Cardi B's yams. But anyways, man.
Or whatever.
Yo, shout out to the Rocks. Yo. Hey, man. Hey.
Yeah, that breaking news, Rob?
Hey, huh?
That breaking news?
Oh, yeah, happy birthday to my pops, man.
Rob eats Cardi B's yams.
What'd you say, Rob? What?
Happy birthday to my pops, man. Half a century still going on. Half a century still going on, but
happy birthday to Rob Ahmad's pop, man. Good dude.
Shout out to all the pops who stayed.
Jimmy, I didn't know it was your birthday, man. Happy birthday.
Cut that out, man. Shout out to all the black fathers that stayed and showed their kids the loafs, man. Go ahead, Rob. What's good?
All right, man. Dang, man, there's a lot going on. Just on one quick thing, we have to understand when we live in this capitalist society, especially in the black community. A lot of black bourgeoisie doesn't really see value, or they pick and choose they pick and choose what they want to invest in. And with the dying community, you don't really see value in that. Now, there are some exceptions. There are some good people, but not everybody is like a Shaquille O'Neal or Stephon Marbury or Warrick Dunn, who builds houses out of his bare hands to help people. And I can't really call out people who don't invest in their communities. That's just on them. I have to do what I have to do. They got to do what they have to do. And aside from that, that's all I have to say about that.
Amen.
Hey, man, that's one of the most mature things I've ever heard you say, Rob, because that's exactly right. But, the thing is, we need to spend more time talking about the guys like a Warrick Dunn who are doing these things, but it's just not as fun, and we can't get any good memes off that. We get the good memes off of these dudes smoking with gas masks on.
And we got to get those memes off.
Memes got to get off. That's a great point, though, Rob.
I mean, for crying out loud, you should expect that if the bourgeoisie invested in hip hop back in those days when it would start coming up, instead of pushing it away, saying, "Oh, that's just young folk, that's just noise." Imagine how the economy for African Americans, how our communities would look if we would invest in music back then in the 70s that we did right now. But that's here or there. But all I gotta say, but anyway, back to sports. All I gotta say about Luke Walton is, who cares? bring our Cali players back. I don't give a damn. Bring Paul George from Palmdale, bring him back. Bring back Westbrook. Bring back all DeMar Rosen from Compton. Bring them all back. That's all I gotta say. If he can't do that, then let his ass go the first year. I don't care.
Rob like hell with the salary cap.
He's trying to bring back the territorial draft.
Yo, like salary cap? What? Salary cap. All right, Rob, man.
Rob, thanks for your call, man. Great points, Rob.
Yo. Also, I gotta say about the Eagles draft, man. It was all right. Yo, shout outs to Lofa from my always talking about some own cats out there, man. Yo, glad they bought them. Glad we got two of them. You know, and we'll see how it goes. And yo, Bradford, stop being a coward, man. You know what I'm saying? And don't ever let anybody whose last name is KRS-One or Ben Boss watch your kids. Any babysitter.
Yo, the teacher too? What's up? No, KRS-One got some allegations?
No,
all right, Rob, we holler at you, man.
We holler out of context. KRS-One had made a statement about Afrika Bambaataa, and people are saying that he basically endorsed it. What he basically said was, that's his personal business, and whatever happens there didn't diminish his contribution to the culture.
Well,
that's what he said.
Basically, they condemned him for not condemning Bambaataa.
Exactly.
Which was crazy.
We got one more caller we got to get to real quick, and this is the homie Jonathan, a.k.a. RG4. We have him on the line.
Is that how you treat a honored guest?
It's all love, fam. What's good though? How are you?
Oh man,
you out in Cleveland?
I'm doing
you out
good.
in Cleveland?
No. I'm still gonna support my Redskins, baby. I just wanted to talk about a few things.
You still gonna support that racist name team?
I'm gonna support. Hey, is this Charlemagne the God?
Yo,
nah. I'm
Jonathan's
gonna say
a Lakers fan too. What do you think about before you start?
I'm gonna say a couple things. Lakers are done for the next 2-3 years. We know that.
Thank you. I agree.
You know, that's a fact. You got a snitch on the team. You got somebody. You got an immature player that know how to keep his personal stuff on the side. And then on top of that, you're bringing in. You got a problem in the front office between brother and sister. And I talked about that 3 years ago when y'all talked. We talked about that. That ain't gonna get resolved.
Just go ahead and do it, man. She's scared.
Jim, what's his name? Jim Bus didn't even tell his sister he hired a new coach or fired Byron Scott. Come on now, that's the problem there. So that's 2 or 3 year problems. Now the other thing, back to my Redskins, or the team you guys call is Washington.
The Washington Professional Football Team.
Oh, okay, here we go. I said this about 2 or 3 years ago. We need to get a GM, and Dan Snyder finally got a GM. He's finally letting the man do his job. So I have to give early kudos, not full-fledged. This is wait another year or two. But I got to give early kudos to Dan Snyder. He's letting someone who knows football, understands football, put that program together. On the third side, and that's arguably you can agree or disagree. But on the third side, I know this is basically a Philadelphia slanted cast. I wanted to ask you guys, and I probably missed all the hoopla, but what is going on in Philadelphia?
Yo, Jimmy roots for Denver, though.
First of all, this is not a Philadelphia slanted cast because we slam Philadelphia sports probably more than we do anybody else. So first of all, let's not start there. But you talking about as far as Sam Bradford acting like a little bitch?
well, here's the thing with Bradford. This is my take on it. He could have went somewhere else and got a position to start. Philadelphia gave him the money, and I guess maybe, and something the public doesn't realize, the public probably doesn't realize that they probably told him, you're going to be our starter. When the opportunity came for them to go get one of the quarterbacks they wanted, they jumped on it just like anyone else would, right? They jumped on it. And maybe that left him awkward because now he's no longer the division's future starter. He's now going to be the next Kurt Warner for this guy for 2 years. He's going to have to help some young kid out.
Jay,
he was never to do it.
He was never the future starter, and even with them drafting a quarterback, they still promised him the starting job for this season. So if you had a competitive bone in your body, you wouldn't be sitting here complaining to a franchise that you really don't have any leverage. It's not like he's Donovan McNabb and he's been there for 10 years. Like What are you talking?
Right.
You played 14 games for this franchise. You're almost as new as this rookie that's coming in. So,
And do you guys have the stats? How many games he played in his NFL career as a starting quarterback?
It's not much more than the 14 he played in Philly. He gets hurt all the time.
Thank you.
So I really don't know where he's coming from, like where he thinks his leverage is coming from to be upset in this situation. He signed a 2-year deal where most of the money was guaranteed in the first year anyway. So I don't think this was a situation where they quote unquote came up on a quarterback. I think this was their plan all along, even when because they obviously went out soliciting Cleveland, trying to see if they could get that pick. So this was in the plan all along. He had a short-term contract, so he had to look at himself as the stopgap with the potential of playing his way into, the future of the starting job. So I really don't know what's going on right now with him, man. But he'll stop complaining at some point because those checks still cashing. So.
Well, yeah, you would think, but and let's not forget this guy was the last person, I think, NFL rookie that got the big guarantee money.
Oh yeah,
and
$50 million up front. This dude owns a ranch, man. He all right.
so that's where it's going. And the last thing I'm going to say also before I go any further here, Golden State and everybody's playing, and it looks like Golden State might do this thing as long as what's his name comes back. I'm actually going to go against Golden State on this one. I think what's his name's hurt worse than they're going to report, and I think that's going to limit them when they play teams like San Antonio, but when they play San Antonio or even if Cleveland's back in it again. I'm just going to assume Cleveland's going back in it again. You guys agree with that? Because I don't see you coming back from that type of injury that what's his name Curry had in 2 weeks.
I think it's kind of the other way around. I think it's the other way around. I think they might be exaggerating the injury to make it look worse than it was. That's kind of what I thought. I thought about that strictly because he tried to come back and play. Usually when you sprain your knee, it's messed up. You're not trying to come back out in the second half and play. So I think they're exaggerating it. I think they got lucky on the draw with Portland and realized this is another team we probably can beat or at least get a good lead, at least win a few games without Steph. So let's go for that. Let's sit him out as long as we can. That's kind of what I think. It's kind of like the opposite of what you think, but it could be either one, man.
So do you think San Antonio could take him out?
Oh, San Antonio always had the potential.
Yeah, I think San Antonio could take him out even if he was completely healthy. They had a shot.
Yeah, they always had the potential to take him out. So that's going to be. I mean, barring injury, it would seem like the Western Conference Finals is really going to be the NBA Finals. I know the Eastern Conference teams always hate when we say that in disrespect, but
I agree with you. There's nobody in the East. I'm thinking, who's in the East?
Yes, there's nobody in the East who would make it through the playoff brackets in the West and represent the conference in the championship. So you got to say, I think everybody agrees that the Warriors and the Spurs will pretty much beat anybody who comes out of the East, unless they have an injury, unless Steph is really hobbled like that.
Right. Oh,
or LaMarcus or Kawhi.
One of the guys, I know I got to get off, but one of the guys tapped me on the shoulder real quick. He asked me to ask you guys real quick. Okay, Durant and James is going to be a free agent too. Am I correct? He can opt out. Am I correct?
Because he can opt out. He signed that little deal where he can opt out, but he's just trying to get that money.
Do you think him and Durant could be lured to LA Lakers? Now my buddy over here saying the Wizards. I'm like, dude, shut up.
Yeah, it's not going to happen for Washington. I don't even think Durant is seriously considering Washington. But there was a time where I thought there's no way LeBron would ever leave Cleveland again. But I'm going down on that percentage. It used to be 106%. Now I'm at like 99.2% because of the frustration that he expressed during the middle of the season. But if they make it to another NBA Finals, I really don't see the case he could make for leaving again without being the most hated man in the history of sports.
He don't care. He got to go chill with the Banana Boat boys.
I don't think.
But if you're asking me about Durant, I think Durant will end up in LA. But don't sleep on Miami as a landing spot for Durant either.
No taxes.
Yo, I heard a rumor about Durant in San Antonio. I don't know how they're gonna work that out, but I heard that rumor though.
Well, I know Miami's trying to bump out Bosh. They don't want Bosh no more. It's very obvious they want to try to get rid of Bosh. They're trying to get
at this point, you kind of got
off.
to. He's like Sam Bradford now. Like he can't stay healthy. So
right.
you know what the crazy part about that is, though, Jonathan? I really thought with the healthy Bosh, Miami had a chance to kind of surprise the league this year and maybe really challenge Cleveland for that trip to the finals. I really thought that, but I mean, a lot of their players, their good players are old, but you got Dwayne Wade who can turn it on, Joe Johnson who's good at being like a second, third fiddle. You got some talent on the team. You got Bosh, you got Luol Deng.
Yo, man, you missed their best player, man, Hassan Whiteside, man.
The potential defensive player of the year. Like,
he don't even know how to play basketball yet. He be dominating.
He really doesn't. He really doesn't know how to play.
Wow. So Durant could go just about anywhere. He could stay right where he's at now, obviously. But I mean, it looks like that he wants to win, and I don't think that Oklahoma. Let's just be honest with each other. What type of money opportunities does he have in Oklahoma besides his contract? And I think that's where you're going to have to look at the Miami and the L.A. and the New York and some of these other teams out there. I hate saying Knicks, but even Knicks might be in the running for him, yeah?
And we've said it before. We even think Durant probably transcends that, though. He's one of those players. He probably can make money anywhere because he's just that good and that popular.
Good. Yeah.
There's probably three cats, LeBron, Durant, and probably Steph. It probably really doesn't matter where they are.
Plus he on Rock Nation, man. He on Rock Nation. He ain't gonna get his bread.
Durant can play in Nebraska and still get his, I mean, his mom got a movie coming out.
Jay-Z's drinking lemonade right now, so.
Durant mom got a movie coming out right now, so he don't know how to do it, but he's still gonna leave.
So if you got mom involved, that puts New York or L.A. or really L.A. because those Hollywood money. You can't sleep on that Hollywood money.
Listen, man, Rock Nation will take care of me, man.
All right. Thanks for your call, Jonathan, man. We appreciate it.
All right, guys. Y'all take care.
All right, homie.
All right, you too. All right, no doubt. Let me do, Jimmy, this stat of the week real quick. Well, first, we talked about Chris Bosh. Of course, Bosh, they announced that he indeed will be out for the remainder of the playoffs. So that's a blow to Miami because, like I said, I thought they could actually, do some work in the Eastern Conference playoffs. The stat of the week, the Cavs, they hit a record 25 3-pointers in their rout of the Atlanta Hawks in their last game. It was crazy because this is not only a playoff record, it's also a regular season record. And your man J.R. Smith, Earl, led the way with 7 3-pointers. So shout out to them. They try and get their Golden State Warriors on so they can get ready for their rematch in the finals, possibly, if San Antonio doesn't throw a wrench in that whole thing. But that's your stat of the week.
Yeah.
Let's talk some point guards, fellas.
Real quick, the funniest thing about that stat of the week, Dev, is like during the game, the Hawks had sent out a tweet from the actual Atlanta Hawks account, and that John was like, if you take away your 3-pointers, we right in this game. And I thought that was kind of humorous that they making fun of themselves.
There was a time in basketball like where you can actually say that because hitting a lot of threes was it was a once in a while thing. But man, all people do is take threes now. So
kind of sus, man. The analytics say,
Deb, that's all I've been doing for 12 years, like 12 years.
You hit it first. He also hit it first.
Threes are the new twos, man. That's what it is, man. Let's jump into this point guard talk. And the greatest point guard era ever is what we're getting ready to discuss, which is brought to you by Sports to Book. If you're tired of reading the same old sports book with tired old sports lists, rankings, and imaginary starting lineups, here's what you do. You go pick up the Bible. You go pick up sports. Smart people only read the sports. This is the Illmatic of sports books, and it's a mixture of sports and hip-hop culture that will keep you mesmerized from beginning to end. Go to sportstobook.com or go to warroomsports.com. Do not miss out on this. It will teach you We were slandering Clinton before it was popular to do so. All in Sports the Book. Anyway, gentlemen, it's time to talk basketball.
Yes, sir.
All right, so here's how this conversation came about. We've heard a lot of basketball pundits talking lately, referring to this current era of NBA point guards, and talking about this being the greatest era of the point guard. And they're talking about of all time. I mean, you do have an abundance of, stacked point guards, whether it's Tony Parker, Derrick Rose, B. Austin's favorite player, Mike Conley, Kyrie Irving, John Wall. The list goes on and on. Russell Westbrook. I didn't even mention the light-skinned brother who dominates the game. So the bottom line is, let's just open this floor up. Gentlemen, is this the greatest era of point guards?
And hopefully we can get some participation from out there, man. So if y'all want to talk about this point guard thing, Dallas 323-410-0012. Just press 1. B, I'm sorry, you was about to say no.
Nah. Yeah. It's not. I think it's a great time for point guards. I think that the NBA has legislated the game to a point where it favors perimeter play for several reasons. Because it's obviously more marketable, because people can relate to a guy that's between 5'11" and 6'4" and athletic and can jump in the air. It's more appealing. It's more sellable. Chicks dig the long ball. That's been noted from baseball. And so I think that they've made the game so that guard play is the feature. And even big guys like, your 6'9" to even 7'1" dudes, they don't want to play on the block. They don't want to take their religion seriously. They don't want to go to that carpet and bow their head and get instruction from Hakeem Olajuwon, Emir, that he is. They want to go on the wing and emulate what Chris Webber did, only adding a three-pointer to it. Brian Cook and Channing Frye are their heroes now. That's the hero of the big man. So I don't even think that, we're going to get into the rule change and hand checking kind of going away, but even before you get there, I just think that the game has been you've legislated out some of the main things of basketball, getting a layup, pick and roll, pick and pop, more famous or more utilized now than pick and roll. Post play is a thing of the past, except for guards that can go down low and post up. So yeah, I don't know.
I kind of agree with B. Austin. The game is completely changed. It's no longer the same game that Hakeem Olajuwon, all praises be to him, no longer the game that he played. So, yeah, he definitely dominated. I mean, in fact, that one year when Hakeem was like just dominating the league, he was even hitting threes himself in that series against Orlando. But that's neither here nor there. But when you look at the list of point guards that are dominating now, the Chris Pauls, Derrick Rose, Westbrook, yada, 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 if you put the same point guards, I'm not even going to go back. Well, at one point he has an MVP under his belt.
Yeah, he has an MVP.
So cut that out. But I'm saying if you go back to say the 50s in the beginning of the game, there weren't too many dominant point guards. You had Bob Cousy. And I did a little bit of research on this. If you look at the 60s, the top point guards were like Jerry West, Oscar Robertson, Lenny Wilkins, and Guy Rogers. The 70s, Walt Frazier, Tiny Archibald, Norm Nixon. In the 80s, you saw Magic, Dennis Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, and Mo Cheeks. The 90s. So the thing about it is, as the game has progressed from the 50s till now, there's been just better point guard play overall. So as we go from the 80s, where there's maybe about 4 guys who were in the Hall of Fame, you get to the 90s, and you have John Stockton, Gary Payton, Rod Strickland, Mookie Blaylock. The list gets longer and longer. 2000s, it gets longer than the 90s. Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, Chauncey Billups, Mike Bibby, Sam Cassell, Allen Iverson, Baron Davis. Like the list gets longer. And in 2010s, it's longer than the previous decade. So it's a combination of rule changes, the actual position being redefined. Skyview brought it up in the chat room that you can't even call most of these guys point guards. They're like designated ball handlers.
Combo guards. Josh Selby.
So I think that's the reason why. So statistically, I don't think it's ever been a better time. But if you go back and take, I'm not even going to go back. I'll go back to the 2000s. If you put Jason Kidd in this current climate, man.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It definitely has a lot to do with the change in the structure of the game of basketball because, and it also depends on what you look for in a point guard. Because I look at this era of point guards, and I don't necessarily see a bunch of floor generals. You know what I'm saying? I see basically scorers, and because of the way the game is framed now, remember we talked about it last week. We asked the question like, man, can a big be the best player on your team and you win a championship these days? Because the league is kind of structured, and it makes this point guard era maybe stand out a little because a lot of these guys are the best players on their team, and we're not used to seeing the point guard be the best player on the team, except for in a few. Of course, there's a few exceptions. You know, you always had Magic, you had Isaiah Thomas, and cats like that. But if you look at the list and you go down the list of the guys who are shining in this particular era, and if you go by decades, you know, there's some guys who their names will probably pop up in 2 decades. But if you go like the 2010s and the guys who are going now, you got Steph. He's the best player on his team. Chris Paul, best player on his team. Russell Westbrook, arguably the best player on his team. John Wall, best player on his team. Lillard, best player on his team. Kyrie, before LeBron decided to come back to Cleveland, best player on his team. Rose, before the injuries, best player on his team. Tony Parker, for the last, until Kawhi came into his own and they went and got Aldridge, best player on his team. I don't want to hear that Tim Duncan stuff. He ain't been the best player on that team for like 10 years. Kyle Lowry, best player on his team, either him or DeRozan. That's just the way, it's going now. And that's why I think everybody, like the NBA pundits now, are kind of falling into this trap, already calling this era of point guards the best ever. I think it's just because they're looking at the fact that a lot of these guys are the best players on their team. But I think if you go back, there's a list of guys who you can bring up now, and we don't like to do the speculative thing, that would also be the best player on these teams, though. Like the 90s can give you a nice run for your money with Stockton, Peyton Kidd, Penny Hardaway, Tim Hardaway, Steve Nash, Kevin Johnson, Mark Price, Mark Cassell Jackson, AI, if you want to call him a point guard, like Jimmy named earlier, Mookie, the defensive specialist, Rod the God, Terry Porter, Stoudemire, Derek Harper, Slavery Johnson, Kenny G's. Nobody even mentioned Kenny G's. Terrell Brandon was a beast before the knee problems. So, I don't know.
Here's what's interesting about this conversation, right? Salute to my man Skyview Kevin, but you have to let us know whether you are related to Michael Ray Richardson, because you keep bringing his name up in this conversation. And I do remember Michael Richardson. I know that he pretty much snorted his way out of the league. I know that
I have Michael Ray. I have Michael Ray on my 80s list.
No, and I know he was a beast. But it's funny how Kev just keeps repping for him. Like
he was a beast for 4 seasons.
Yeah, he definitely was a beast. He was a beast. He was a beast like on the court and the trap house. But my thing is, Skyview must be related to him because he keeps bringing his name up, man. And salute to Michael Ray Richardson, man, because he got blackballed. They ain't take Chris Mullin out the league, and he was drinking up a storm. But that's either here nor there. What we're talking about
he's on my 80s list, along with Magic, Zeke, Stockton, Fat Lever, Mo Cheeks, Dennis Johnson.
Fat Lever is one of the top 5 most underrated players in the history of sports. Mm-hmm. Fat Lever was that guy.
Sidney Moncrief.
But that's the thing. Like when you talk about this game, and it's not just basketball. I look at this. Speaking of drugs, we just want to name all the addicts in the league now. Yeah, I mean Richard Dumas. Anyway, listen.
John Lucas.
Yo.
Jimmy went away from point guards though. Richard Dumas wasn't no point.
I know, but I'm just.
He just went to addicts.
I thought we were talking addicts right now.
No, we talking about point guard addicts.
Point guard addicts.
Lamar Odom, he was a point guard.
Yo, anyway, man, I think this is bigger than that. This is a cultural thing, right? Where it's all about capitalism. It's all about selling merchandise. It's all about making people buy beer. And what does that is excitement. What does that is offense. You know what I mean? Defense wins games. Offense sells tickets. It's the old adage. And this is why when you look at the NFL, you can't play defense in the NFL. Scoring is up, and they want scoring to be up. You look at the NBA, it's the same concept. They want scoring to go back to the ABA days because that's what gets people to buy beer. And I want to see what they're going to do along the lines of baseball and so on and so forth, because that's continuously what's going to happen. And because of that, you have guys with, air quotes, inflated statistics. You know what I mean? So you'll have a lot of these guys who will get in the Hall of Fame, and you'll look back at this and say, man, those point guards in the 2010s were crazy. But as we mentioned earlier, there's context to everything. Always think about the context, people. You can't just look at raw data and say this is the greatest era of all time.
Shoot more threes.
It's more than that. And I'm listen, I work with data every day, like I said earlier. I think that data does tell a story, but you have to understand the context. So you'll have guys like Rajon Rondo. Statistically, Rajon Rondo looks like he's better than a lot of guys that played before him. Rajon Rondo can't shoot foul shots. But go ahead, L.B. Austin.
How many guards right now, point guards, average double-digit assists?
Great question. Probably like one.
That would be.
Let me see.
This season,
John Wall.
That's a very good question.
I'm gonna check right now for you, B. Austin.
I was about to say you probably should have looked it up instead of asking it, but.
He just killed you again. Russell Westbrook is the only player in the league to average more than the double digits. He averages 10.7. He's the only player in the league.
Chris Paul averaged 10 this season.
What the hell? I'm looking at the leaders. 10. I don't see Chris Paul up here.
Yeah, he averaged 10 this season.
Oh, my fault. My fault, B. Austin. I'm looking at the 2016 postseason. Gets wrong with me.
Historically, John Wall has been around 10. If he's not this season, in past he has. But
it's four guys. It's four guys actually in the regular season. Is Rajon Rondo, who led the league at 11.7. Westbrook is second at 10.4. John Wall is third at 10.2, and Chris Paul at an even 10.
That's funny. Westbrook, somebody they say is selfish and don't pass.
Somebody who gets better every year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's been shutting the haters down for about the last 3 seasons pretty consistently. But I've noticed that to your point earlier, there was a time, I would say 60s, 70s, and probably the 80s, where you could consistently find between 5 and sometimes as high as 8 guys averaging double-digit assists. You had and Stockton, who were consistently up there, and Stockton, of course, because he actually had a surrogate. He had a child attached to him that he fed the ball to. But you had guys that could average double-digit assists. Now I think there's guys that are listed as point guards that aren't really creative outside of creating for themselves. So the responsibility of creating is relegated merely to, okay, set a pick. If you pop and they double, I'll hit you. But more than likely, I'm going to the basket or I'm pulling up. And it's like the point guard's job used to be to really be a bit more creative in getting other people buckets or other people easier opportunities. And I think that's another thing that I can't just look at scoring in a vacuum and say that these guys are better because they score more, because they don't do much of anything else better than their predecessors. But they do score more because the opportunity is there.
I'm looking up statistics now. What's crazy about this is there's actually more guys now averaging double digits than there are like in the early 2000s, and some in the 90s too. But there's context behind that too. Scoring is up, and the field goal attempts are up as well.
It's more attempts per game.
So it's more shot attempts per game, which is leading these guys. There's 4 guys in double digits. If you look back to right now, I'm in 2002. There was only 1. But that's why. The reason why is because there's more. So it's more context. There's more field goal attempts being made, which means.
Well, you went back to 2002. The 2000 to 2010. There were some good ones then, but I don't know.
Not really.
That might have been one of the more weaker. I don't know. In that period where Jimmy looked back to, you had Darren Williams and Chris Paul in that decade. You had Rondo, but Rondo really didn't start balling until late in that decade with the Celtics when they started winning championships, and after that, championship. You had like Baron Davis, Chauncey Billups,
Jason
Kidd, get older, but Kidd played a lot of years in the league. You had AI, if you want to list him in this conversation, Tony Parker. A lot of these guys, Steve Nash, who was a high assist guy, but generally the point guards of that decade, besides like Kidd and Steve Nash and Chris Paul, they generally weren't like high assist guys. You know what I mean? Chauncey
even
when you go Baron Davis wasn't the biggest.
Even when you go back to the 80s, and I'm going through every 80s season now, the only people consistently in double digits are Magic and John Stockton. That's pretty much it.
John Stockton, yeah. And they're two of the leaders in assists and all time. So you expect to see
they're
them
number one and 3 or something like that. So So
double figures in assists is definitely hard to come by in any decade.
But they're actually more now doing it. There are more now doing it. But like I was saying, it's
especially
also
like the
one
last
of those
2
things.
years. Especially like the last 2 seasons. Dudes, they definitely dishing. But I definitely think the pundits who, have started to speak this into existence. First of all, these guys are playing now, so the true story isn't going to be told until they're gone, and we can really compare decades because, dudes are balling right now. But like Jimmy said, it's a lot of reasons behind that. But the true story will be told when they're all retired, and we're talking about this in a few years about which decade or which era had the best point guards. I think there's more. I think it's deep now, and we talked about the reasons why because of the way the game is played now. You have to have a good point guard.
Yo, you want to hear something crazy, yo? Yo, between the years of 1982 to 1996, either Magic or Stockton were number one in assists every year except for one.
Who was it, Mark Jackson?
No, Isaiah Thomas. That 1 year, 84, 85. Isaiah, the 1 year Isaiah came in and the only year that somebody else had won an assist title, Isaiah averaged 14 assists a game.
Damn.
Zeke was drawing, and he played 81 games.
I got to find out what happened that season. Like, was he trying to prove something? Did somebody
it was 1984-85, and he played 81 games. So it's not like, he got the average by just, he played 81 games. But between 82 and 96 is either Magic or Stockton at number one every year except for that 1 year.
Yo, shout out to Zeke. His middle name Lord, too.
And by the way, 1979-80, Michael Ray Richardson led the league in assists. That was from my man Skyview.
Shout out to Skyview, Michael Ray. Yeah, I think Isaiah Thomas has something to prove that year.
That's for Michael Ray.
Jim, you talking about 84-85, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was drawing.
84-85, he was drawing. Well, Zeke was out there Zeke was giving them dimes away like,
Yeah, and he went on a 4-year streak where he was over, where he was double figures in assists from 83-84 to 86-87. He was double figures in assists every year. But then he had some 9.4, some 9.3 sprinkled in there as well.
Yo, the greatest number on this assist sheet I'm looking at, which gives you the assist leaders for every year since they started counting them, is 1967 to 68. Because number one is Wilt Chamberlain, the only center, non-guard on the list.
Dude's always going to be on some in the record book for something.
Yo,
that wasn't real.
Yo, Wilt is on every list there. You can say what you want to say about his competition, whether you believe it. Yo, there's not one list that we look at. We're not even talking. We're talking about the greatest point guards, and his name is still on his list.
Yo, I don't criticize Wilt. I just tell y'all that's not real. He didn't. Did y'all see it? He wasn't real. Come on.
No human being can do that.
Yo, it don't matter. If we're talking about points, if we're talking about Becky's with the good hair, yam farming, Wilt will always be mentioned, man. How will this conversation? He led the league in assists. Yeah, man. But Dev, to your point, man, there's a lot of guys like Mark Jackson has led the league in assists. Rod Strickland, Jason Kidd, shout to Andre Miller, who's somehow still in the league getting a check. He wants the league in assists.
Yeah, Andre Miller, he's solid. Like what would you not want? In his game, like he's the type of dude.
He got to go now because he can't shoot a three better than any of us. So now he got.
When you look back at his 2001-2002 season, he had an amazing season in which he led the league in assists. And I'm laughing because his teammates now probably don't even. They probably think this old bumbo in our back of our lineup. They don't realize that he was once that guy. But he has the greatest up fake in the history of the game. So
it's mean. His pump fake is mean.
But you see the change happen in the 2000s where you see
because he can't shoot.
Yeah, he was never a very good jump shooter, so I don't understand why his pump fake worked so well.
Yo, he has a flat-footed up fake that everybody falls for.
Yo,
I don't know, man. Very crafty, very crafty. But with that being said,
but he's playing with old heads now, though, Jim. So they know who he is. He's playing with some old heads.
Yeah. He's in the squad with some old heads. They recognize his yo, man. It's sad to see guys just stay around too long, man. Like. Yo, them young boys have no idea that Kevin Garnett was Kevin Garnett. But anyway,
hey.
But getting back to the whole question about point guard, this past season, Rajon Rondo won the assist title, and that's like his third time winning it. So he's a three-time assist leader in the league.
Is Rajon Rondo going to be a Hall of Famer?
I don't know because his attitude, like a lot of people don't like him.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, B. Austin. Does he actually deserve to be? He's been on a championship team, and I would argue at that point that he was the most important part of that team.
Yeah, I would too. I was about to say when Ray Allen heart pumped Kool-Aid and
But you know what? He was the most important part of that team for different reasons, though.
Absolutely.
He was the most important part of that team because he was the only dude on the team that you didn't know what you were going to get from him. Once he became the man on that team, like once Rajon Rondo became, an all-star and a very good player and a perennial top guard in the league, like there's been no success team-wise. So when he played with all them dudes and they was like, all right, this little young boy got to keep everything together, and he played solidly enough to do that, except for when Kobe was playing 8 feet off of him in the finals.
Man, listen.
Yeah, he definitely was the X factor. But then
Garnett told y'all that season, man. He said everything's possible.
I would venture to say that he's a throwback. He's a throwback because he doesn't look for his shot. Not that he should. He doesn't look for his shot first, second, third, or fourth. He is always looking to make the right.
Do you realize what happens when he shoots? What the people yell out when he shoots? Because we can't let a show go by without playing that clip, right? But to answer the overall question, Dev, I don't think this is the greatest. I think this is the greatest era statistically, but there's context to that, just like there's context to everything.
Right. So since we got a roll, we'll throw this question up on the page tomorrow. It'll be a good Friday topic for everybody in the War Room. So
absolutely, man. Yo, thank you, good folks, for joining us again in the War Room. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, Facebook, Twitter. The callers who called in, we definitely appreciate the love. Special thanks to Fred Perdue and his emoji pillow for joining us as well. Tune in next week, live right here or on demand on the WRS Podcast Network. We'll check in on the NBA playoffs and everything else happening in the world of sports. So until then, enjoy your weekend. We'll see you right back here next time. Catch all of our conversations on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Christian Mingle. Everything is at War Room Sports. You can check everything we do, our blogs, webcasts, and network podcasts on warroomsports.com. Also, make sure you pick up my book, which can be found at sportstobook.com or at warroomsports.com. Until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance, and we'll see you chumps on top. Dennis Stubblefield, we win where we belong, yo.
6 to 8. Yeah. War Room Sports. Y'all ready? Let's go. Stay in tune to Jimmy. Know the blue
blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop scholars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC, royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, PJ, Stop Back, the Austin. I'm shot. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.